So hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I don't normally do pre-recorded videos, but I wanted to give a little bit of a review and a little bit of a showdown of a program called xOrganiser for X-Plane. And so I'll fire it up, and we're running version 2.1.1. This is the latest version as of today. And I wanted to show, bear with me a second. So I wanted to show some of the things you're able to do with the new versions. If you've used the product before, the first page will look fairly standard. We are up here on the left on custom scenery. I have actually run the installer, pointed it at X-Plane and let it sort all the scenery out. And so it opens in the custom scenery window, and as you can see here, it's basically sorted all my airports into various regions. So we've got airports in Europe, airports in North America, airports Asia, airports default, non-airport scenery, libraries, roads and overlays, orthos, and going further down to mesh. And if you'll notice, these are all actually in the order that they will show in your scenery packs ini file. At the moment, I've got it loaded with a flight plan. Over here on the right you can see the active profile. So I've actually set up a few different profiles. So if I click on everything on, you'll see everything has a green tick next to it. But that means my flight simulator will take an exceptionally long amount of time to load, because I do have a lot of add-on scenery. The Faroes, I've got stuff for France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, a lot of stuff in Europe. I've got a lot of stuff in North America, again Alaska, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, and these are just the airports. Again, airports in Asia. Further down we've got the default airports. So we've got Aerosoft airports, but again it's all in the correct order of where it should be. Demo airports, so we've got Seattle and Lowy, they're the demo airports from X-Plane. I've actually got the 25,000 prefab airports, so they're in there as well. Now, they've actually changed the latest version 8 of the prefab airports. They now go above global airports, and that again is reflected here, because as you can see, it's above global airports. Global airports, self-explanatory, that all comes with X-Plane. Non-regional scenery, I could go through all of this, but as you can see, there's lots and lots. My ortho scenery, again, lots for Europe, North America. This is one of the big pluses of the new version, is it now sorts the ortho. So if you've got ortho for XP, it sorts those tiles into the correct areas. So for example, orthos Europe, these are all the countries in Europe that I have ortho for. So if I want to turn any of these off, you just unclick it, and when it's white, that means it's off, green means it's on. So as I was going back to the active profiles, I've set some pre-selected ones. So the latest flight plan will switch off all the stuff I don't need. We'll come back to that one. Stock X-Plane as a profile, so this will just load a basic what comes with X-Plane. I have an Orbix UK, so that will then load all the stuff required. It will load all of the Orbix and the libraries and everything required for that. And I've got a HD Mesh 4, so that then turns on HD Mesh 4. And again, you can have lots of different profiles to do all sorts of different things, as you can show as many as you want. For me, the biggest plus here, as I say, if you use latest flight plan and you let's go into that now. If we want to import a flight plan, so I'll put it to everything on. So at the moment it thinks that has now, in the scenery packs, it's turned everything on. But I only want to fly a flight plan. So if we click on select scenery on map, and this opens this scenery window, we can then, on the right hand side here, you can see open flight plan. So we click on that, again opens a new window. This is some of the flight plans I've got saved. So let's for example use Gatwick to Lowy. We'll highlight that one, we'll open that. We then want to project the route, so that's then the route from that flight plan, and you can see it's giving us these scenery tiles. So I can select the packages. So is it actually, no, that's not quite right, hang on, that didn't. Try that again. EGKK to Lowy, project the route. Select the packages, and now we want to load that to latest flight plan. So it's going to copy the selection to the profile, and it's actually going to enable all the libraries. Copy to profile. So right, it now has selected latest flight plan, and if we go into Europe, you'll see Lowy is selected because that's our destination. Some of France because we'll be overflying Paris Charles de Gaulle. A little bit of Germany is switched on because we'll obviously be coming close to those areas. Lots of these other ones are switched off because we're not going anywhere near them. The UK, again, the ones that we'll be going close to will be switched on. So Heathrow's on, the Needles, Fair Oaks, Gatwick, London. So we've got some exclusions there, but they'll get turned on. Again, the global airports, the Orbix stuff will get turned on. Landmarks of London. You can see it's selected all the stuff we need for that flight plan. Now if I was to start X-Plane, it would only load that scenery and it would take much less time. For my simulator, because it's huge, that will reduce the loading time to a reasonable loading time. So that's the massive benefit of being able to only load the scenery you're going to need for a particular flight plan. It does kind of have the downside that if you're going to fly a subsequent flight plan, you would obviously have to exit the sim and reload the scenery for that flight plan. So there's pros and cons between having everything on and loading the latest flight plan. Or you could, I guess, you could put together some way of adding all the scenery from multiple flight plans. If you know you're staying in the US, you would maybe only turn on the stuff in the US. If you know you're staying in Europe, you might only turn on the stuff in Europe. So that's one of the really cool features that I really like and have been waiting for a long time from an application. Big thumbs up for that one. The other area I'm going to go into, I'll go through all of these tabs. The plugins and scripts, again, is very similar. So this is basically looking at your resources plugins folder and deciding what plugins you have, and also what scripts in the Fly with Lua, LUA, Fly with LUA scripts, and they're all broken down in a similar way. Exactly like the custom scenery, you can turn them on and turn them off. So if, for example, I didn't want to do a flight today with Smart Copilot turned on, I can turn that off and it doesn't get loaded. Same for any of the others. XRAS perhaps, if you don't want that to load. And again, same with the Fly with Lua scripts, you can turn those on and off. I generally don't really use this page too much, but it is there if you want to. Explain profiles, again, I haven't really looked into that side, perhaps for a later video. Airport details, you can find out all sorts of stuff in here. One of the main points, you could find out if you've actually got scenery installed and what is installed. You could view it on the map, what it looks like. But one of the other things you can do is analyze for duplicates. And what this will do, it goes through all your scenery and looks for duplicates and tells you which one is being loaded. So, for example, River Oak here, that will load the prefab, like 25,000 prefab airports, and the global airports is not turned on. And again, that goes through every single airport in the X-Plane world, what you have turned on. I'm just looking to see if there's anything. Those are just the duplicates that are coming from the prefab. Scenery coverage, kind of as it says, you can find out what scenery is covering where. This is just showing you, it doesn't make any alterations to the simulator. So the Orbix stuff, there we go, you can turn that shows you what it's covering. If we go to the orthos, that's all my ortho scenery. And on to the final tab, which for me, I think has some of the best things, certainly some of the most intuitive things that have been added recently. So scenery toolbox, what we can do, again over here on the right, you've got scan for missing libraries. Now I've actually run this several times and I've been installing all of the missing libraries, and can't say enough about this little tool. So what I'm doing here, we're scanning for missing libraries, and what I've asked it to do is to scan all of the airports that I have. So all the airports in Europe, all the airports in North America, and all the airports in Asia. And what we're going to do, click on the scan button. What that does, goes through all your add-on sceneries and basically looks for the libraries that are required. One of the things, because I've been installing and updating all the libraries that were missing and out of date, I'm not going to have a great deal of stuff to show at the end of this, because I've installed more or less everything that was missing. Right, quick sip of drink. As you can see, it is literally going through every software, every airport folder. We're obviously over into the States now. If I have mentioned, I do have a lot of add-on scenery. If you're having any sort of problems with scenery, I would say this is by far and away one of the best products to sort things out. So we do have only show scenery packages with missing libraries, so it's going to get rid of all the stuff that had ticks, and now we've just left with the results that have exclamation marks, and it lists what is missing and what the action is. So I haven't figured out yet what this local object is. There's obviously something it doesn't like from Dusseldorf and Anchorage Airport. The Waves library, I believe that's installed, but for some reason it hasn't picked it up. The Orbix libraries, because these are really old scenery, I don't think they now see the new versions of the Orbix libraries, so Can't really do much about that. San Diego, again, I'm not sure. I think this is probably an error somewhere in the library file. It's listing things. The RD library 1_2. Okay, so there are some errors in there that I can try and sort out. So let's, for example, just have a quick look at that RD library. So we're into custom scenery, go down to RD library. So this is version 1.2, I do believe. It looks like it's quite old. So we will jump across, explain RD. There we go. So there's the RD library 1.3 by the looks of it. I'm actually looking for is .7. So let's try RD library 1.7. Yeah, so I'm using an old version. So download that. Just giving you a little bit of a how we sort the problems out. So explain libraries, save that in there. Looks like I've already got a copy. That's where I downloaded it to. So RD library 1.3. Extract that. Quick sip of drink. Now I do encourage you, if you are enjoying this video, this quick review, do smash that thumbs up button. It helps the channel. If you've got any questions, certainly do ask them. Throw them in the comments section. Let me know what you think. So we will copy that into our custom scenery folder. Now I think ay. So I don't make the same mistake again. Gonna delete my 1.2 version. So I'm deleting it from the explain. I'm just copying the new version, RD library v 1.3 in there. That's that one. So what we should be able to do when this one finishes It's also saying my world models is out of date. So it's interesting, it tells you exactly what's wrong with your scenery. So let's have a look at world models too. And doesn't seem to be in there. Okay, explain world models. So that's 080, which I'm pretty sure is the one we've got. I've got world models 1.1, so that's that one. So is there more? Okay. This is odd. Not sure about that one. Let's go back to the original problem, which was the RD library is now version 1.3. Okay, so that's copied across. If we now go scan for missing, we should now show that RD library has been updated to the correct version, so it won't need updating now. Still need a couple of other bits will need updating. Heathrow's one of them big airports that always takes a while. Yep, up to Fair Oaks. A bit of Gatwick, Manchester, Anchorage. As you can see, there's a lot of scenery getting installed, so the fact there's so few errors, that's a pretty good sign. Obviously it would be nice to have no errors, but I think that's with subsequent releases of the program it will probably get even better. There we go, it only shows scenery packages with missing libraries. Okay, still saying to update the RD library, but it may actually require that I reload it. Well, there we go. Let's do latest flight plan. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do the Hong Kong to Macau, which is my next around the world flight. So if you haven't caught that yet, make sure you go and check that out. And there you go, that's the little 12 boxes it wants to load. Is that 12? Yeah, 4, 8, 12. So we've done projected route. It's a very, very short route. Select packages. We want to put that onto the latest flight plan. Copy to selected. And there we go. So now it's selected a couple of airports in Asia. Hong Kong and Macau. Nothing else in between. It's got the libraries and a little bit of the ortho. And you won't actually, yes you will. If I do start X-Plane, you'll see it loads for my simulator. It loads relatively quickly. The plugins do still take a bit of time. Again, there's a lot of plugins. Do new flight. That's not really a sign of the load up. So we're loading in Hong Kong. I haven't actually got my active sky. Active sky is running. Start the flight. Now normally here, if I was loading everything, I could in fact go off, make a cup of tea, probably make lunch, eat lunch, drink the cup of tea, probably go shopping for more lunch tomorrow, and then come back and I'd still be waiting for the simulator to load. Having trimmed it down to just the flight plan, it makes it pretty nippy. One of the things, a lot of my scenery is actually held on a network attached storage device, so the storage is not actually attached to my PC, it's attached to the network, and it just takes a little bit longer to load stuff than if it was on like an SSD or a local hard drive. All of my ortho scenery is basically held on the network. There is another video of mine. If you search for how to move your custom scenery folder, you can actually move folders or the whole custom scenery folder to somewhere else. And I have a sneaking suspicion that my video recording software, OBS, is actually recording to that network attached storage at the moment as well, so that is probably going to delay this loading quite a bit. If I wasn't streaming or if I wasn't recording to that storage, this would be a whole lot quicker. Yeah, this is still taking a bit of time. I do apologise. I may have edited some of this out of the final video. I may not. Okay, there we go. Looks like we're loading in, so it's not too bad. It doesn't help that I'm recording to that. Okay, I can get rid of that. We do have a scenery package problem, probably because of that world models. But there you go. That's pretty much my loading. But as I say, I've made a comment in my Discord channel. I felt scenery just feels a lot more realistic. I haven't got any views set up, but it looks really nice. Hong Kong airport. It's about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, I think, when I'm filming this simulator time. But as you can see, I'm showing 75 FPS there. Yes, we are in a default aircraft, but that's just looking stunning. Okay, as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do hit that like button, the thumbs up that is, and all helps the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. FTP clocking off.